This is a Glendale Library Arts and Culture program created for and featuring teens, edited and hosted by the Teen Library staff.
Hi everyone, this is Melissa.
And Desiree.
Welcome to the guest episode of G.E.N Talks.
Today's guest was born in Tehran, Iran, and immigrated to the United States when she was 11 years old. She is an only child and had time finding fun and creative activities growing up. Her top 3 favorite activities are crafts, reading, and computers. She has upgraded her tools in Cricut machines and is sometimes working at MakerSpace at the Central Library. She loves reading and is able to read books in multiple languages, which helped her learn English. As a teen, she browsed the Central Library aisles for hours, finding the perfect book to read, and is working at the library. She loves working for the library because she is able to surround herself with books and crafts all day. She knew once she played around with her first computer setup that she wanted to work with computers. She now works for LITS at the library and graduated with a bachelor's degree in computer science.
Grab a snack and drink, and let's welcome Edit to G.E.N Talks. Thank you, Edit, for taking the time out of your day to talk with us. We have a lot to discuss.
I'm excited. Let's get started.
Yay.
So, you mentioned in your bio that you came to the United States at a young age. What's a standout memory of coming to the United States that you have?
Well, this was my first impression. Our plane landed 13th of February, 2008. So it was February 13th, the day before Valentine's Day. We really celebrate Valentine's Day in Tehran, so I didn't really know what was going on. So imagine a young me driving past all these stores, just hearts and pink and teddy bears, flowers everywhere. And I'm just like, oh my God, I love this place. And then it was like 2 days later when I realized, this may be the temporary thing, but the sale on the chocolates kind of softened the blow 2 days after, so it was okay. It was pretty cool too, because we had some relatives come and visit us. They brought me like these teddy bears and cute hearts. So those were like the welcome gifts I got too. I'm like, oh, how cute. I like it here. Not so bad.
Yeah.
That's my first impression memory.
Creativity has also been a huge part of your life since childhood. What about crafts do you enjoy?
Crafts, it creates this happy space for me. I was an only child, so I didn't have any siblings, or I had the neighbors' kids, but there's only so much you could play with the neighbors' kids. And crafts used to be my outlet. I remember on the weekends, especially when my dad was home with me, he would make kites together. He would show me origami. So it was always this happy memory. And I remember Mom used to bring stacks of colorful paper, just standard printer size paper, and that would be like, oh my God, I have struck the jackpot. And I make lanyards. And I don't know, it was a good way to let my imagination flow and just have a good time. And as the years went on, I got more expensive and more fancier tools to cabinets. So it's always been cool. I've been working with a lot of different mediums recently. I got into cross stitching. I just wanted to show this cross stitch on my dog that I made.
Oh, that's so cute.
She's sleeping on the couch right now. But yeah, it's been my happy place, and it still is these days, especially now.
Do you have any favorite crafts that you've been doing?
Yeah, I recently, the Cricut machines were my favorite thing about the MakerSpace when we were still open, and I felt its loss greatly, so I went and bought my own. I have a Cricut machine at home, and I've just been playing with it. And I bought a couple of vinyls, making custom cups for my friends, or custom vinyl stuff, frames. And those have been my favorite activity recently that I've been doing.
You mentioned the MakerSpace. For those watching this who don't know what the MakerSpace is, can you kind of explain?
Sure, of course I can. The main library branch in Glendale, the central one that near the Americana, went through this big renovation couple years ago, and as a result of that, they had a new room to the building, which was called the MakerSpace, and it is what the name it says. It's a space to make stuff. In there, we have 3D printers, Cricut cutters, VR machines, art, jewelry, craft supplies, sewing machines, and ironers. And it's basically a playground for adults to let out their creative side, adults and teens. At the beginning, we weren't, as the part of the main staff that started working at MakerSpace, we weren't sure what to do with the space. We didn't know what to offer, how to introduce it to our library customers. And then we started to offer workshops, which became a huge success. I was very happy about it. We started sewing workshops, crafting workshops, learn how to 3D design, print your own designs, make jewelry. I like to think that it became one of the favorite rooms of the library customers. It certainly was mine, because, as you grow up, you don't get to make stuff anymore with all the busyness of work. Some have work, just adult craziness. So I think it was a free service too. So you have to pay anything, just come in for a few hours, create, make, have a good time, and take what you make home to show your friends and family.
Do you what are some of the, I guess, programs that you had for teens when we were open, of course?
Yes. So teens, we had this program called Teen Tuesdays. So on Tuesdays, we would have a certain crafts and workshop designed specifically for teens, whether it was, learn Cricut and create vinyl designs for your water bottle, or make custom 3D prints, make custom tags, stickers, whatever it might have been. And the good part is, not only they got to participate and make something with their friends as a group. In addition, they got community service hours, because that's a big deal for teens and high school students. They had to fill out some hours in order to graduate, and that was the benefit. That was what I think was nice about the programs, is they also got, because they are contributing to the community, they're creating this safe space to hang out with their friends, to let out their creative sides. And that's what I like about the team program.
I guess working at the Makerspace, has it taught you anything?
It made me rediscover what I liked about teaching. Because during high school and middle school, I used to, tutor my friends. We would just hang out and we would do homework. And I loved being able to share what I know, and that little light, that sparkle in their eyes when it just clicked. I lived for that. I love that moment. And it just went away for college, because different majors, different classes, different everything. And then when the workshop started and I got to help all these people, oh, so this is how it works, this is what you do, especially during the how to learn how to work Cricut software, when when the things just merge right or they attach right. I'm like, oh, and I'm like, yes, that's how you do it, that's how it is. And watching people, when they just fold things right, glue it right, and then the project just comes to life. They're like, oh my God, I made this. Yeah, you did. That moment was my favorite part of the whole deal.
You recently graduated with a bachelor's in computer science. What is computer science?
In the most basic sense of the word, I get to tell the computer what to do and how to do it in order to help get something done. That's the most basic sense of things. And computer science is just a big umbrella term for a lot of different topics that can and do affect modern day life.
What are some of your favorite classes that you remember taking in your time in college?
Data science, Dr. Porhomayun at CSULA. Again, those watching at CSULA, if you ever get a chance, do take those classes with Dr. Porhomayun. It is a hoot and a half, if I do say so myself. Because you get to learn what the big players do out in the real world. They take raw data, just numbers, literally thousands and even millions. The second semester is dealing with big data. Again, millions of results, pictures, and they convert it into tangible results. You can see tangible and helpful results. So one of the projects we had to do was how accurately can you predict heart attack amongst adults. So we will take, we had data of their of the patients, real life patients, their weight, blood pressure, all these data, and you were able to guess, oh, if the patient is so and so and so, the likelihood of heart disease, heart attack is higher or lower, and it does have real life effects. So that's what I liked about it. You could see it's no longer, oh, make a game or 2 + 2. It's no longer educational. It is nice, it is educational, but it's no longer textbook. It's more of real life examples, and that's what I enjoyed the most about that class.
What's a myth that you think computer science people have?
There's a meme I follow this CS group on Reddit, and I saw he's like, hey, you know computer science, here, fix my phone, or here, fix my okay, I'll try. But you could just turn it off and on again. I'm pretty sure that will solve your problem. But I don't say that out loud to family. Also, those memes, not memes, but on TV shows when you see this guy in a hoodie in a dark room with sunglasses, and you can see the reflection on the computer. It's just lines going on the screen, hacker voice. It's not that. I would like it to be that, but it's just more advanced, glorified Googling. The starting from scratch is kind of impossible because there are geniuses out there who create this whole new language, whole new algorithm, whole new library that just makes sense. Mm-hmm. But for the average person like moi, that is impossible. So if I'm trying to figure out a problem, there probably is somebody out there who has ran into the same problem as I am now. So my job now is to very delicately refine the Google results to get the answer to my problem. And it usually does it. Now, don't get me wrong. It's very exciting when something works. It just clicks, it runs, and the logo is there. You're like, yes! But that's, the 1 or 2% of the time. The other times you're just like, what's your problem? I typed you correctly. What is wrong with you? It's fun though. You get that rush. It has its glamour side, and it has its, the not so nice side. The unfortunate part is we don't also, well, at least I don't deal with the hardware portion as much anymore, or at all, besides IT work. Oh, and that's another thing. Computer science and IT, they're cousins. They're not the same thing. They're close enough. They're cousins, but they're not really they're not the same. So, there's a lot of different things to go at it. I have working for, LITS, the library's IT department. I have put what I have learned in my classes at work to use, very much so, in order to editing web pages and getting the checkouts, the user interface right and all that good stuff. But I've also surprisingly put in what I have learned at work applied it to my schoolwork as well, because I had to take this one course in college where we had to deal with IP addresses and ports, and in movies you see this closet, all those wires coming out of it, blinking, flashing lights. And I see it now, and it doesn't look foreign to me. Okay, I know what this is. I know what this needs to be done. I know what to ask who to switch a port or open up, change the IP or whatever. So they're cousins. They go hand in hand, but they're not the same thing. Yeah.
You mentioned LITS. What is LITS? What does it stand for?
Okay, so LITS, it stands for Library Information Technology Services. That's what the acronym is for. And what we basically do is we help keep the public technology side running smoothly. And that may pertain, changing the public computers, making sure the updates on them run correctly, making sure the user profiles are set correctly, and other parts include, getting the library's website going, reflecting the proper changes. If there's a holiday, you need to be informing the public of, hey, we're closed. Getting the printers going, the online reservations, Communico, working with that and getting the correct ways. Basically, as I said, making sure the public gets to enjoy all the tech services that the library has to offer.
What is something you recommend someone who wants to kind of dab their feet in computer science to do?
Test it out for yourself, because it may not be for everybody. Very easy ways to download some programs. One of the ones that I highly recommend is, it depends on what you want to do with it at first. Either if it's like you're looking to build a website, looking to build apps, looking to build, to work with data. But starting with coding is easy for the basics. There are a lot of YouTubers out there. There are a lot of online courses that would walk you step by step, especially if you, for example, one of the programs I use often is Visual Studio Code, which is like a very basic text editor for the Lego. You can do it on, just a simple, what's it called, notepad, but yeah, you can do it on that, but having the right tools make the words amount of difference. So Visual Studio Code, there's very easy ways to download it, and there's tutorials that you can work with. See, just start building very easy games, websites, pages, to see if that's what you want to do in the future. And one thing that this major needs is young girls out there to be interested in it. There were classes where, imagine a classroom of 40 people, and it was just me and the girl sitting next to me. We were the only females in the whole class of men. And I'm not gonna lie, it does get intimidating. It did get intimidating at some points, but at some points you realize you're just there with your classmates. It doesn't matter. But to get to that point took a lot of self-convincing and self-realization. So keep that in mind as well, getting into it, because that, I don't want to say differs, but scares a lot of young girls out there to call it like, oh no, it's just me in this class. But once you get to know your classmates, for example, when I transferred to CSULA, I didn't know anybody, but I could see all these groups of friendships already in the class, because that's how they, started their courses together. First semester was very hard. Second semester, like, okay, I know these people. I can ask them for help on assignments. And then the next year and the year after there, senior year was golden. We used to go to boba drives between classes or just hang out. The senior design room, people would bring their switches and hook up to the monitors over there and have like game parties. It did get easier, but it was not fun after transferring, not gonna lie. But knowing is the subject you want to stick with, knowing it's what you want to do, and having the perseverance of going through it, knowing like, hey, I'm not the only one. Other people have done it. They got through it. I can do the same. It is necessary for girls in science and tech in general, because they will be the minority for these few years to come. But I'm very hopeful for the future to see, it balance out.
Before we end, we have some rapid fire questions to ask. First question is, what is your favorite color?
It changes, but a safe bet right now, I like pink. I enjoy pink. It's such a soft color.
What is something you have been proud to say that you have accomplished?
I graduated. That's been my, I'm still riding the high of that. I graduated.
If you could have any superpower, what superpower would you have?
To fly. I would love to fly. I had dreams about it. In my dreams, if I jump high enough, like from a high enough place, before I hit the ground, I would start soaring, and I would just like love to feel that.
Who was your first celebrity crush?
Oh my God, Troy Bolton. Oh,
The bowl cut.
it was nice at the time. Okay, I appreciate it,
agree.
and I appreciate Zac Efron for changing with the times, because I still feel this like previous self found him equally attractive as my current self does, with his
Right?
whole new vibe going on. You know, I appreciate that.
Describe yourself as a teenager in 3 words.
Head in the clouds. I know that's like 3 words right there, but I'm just gonna treat it as a phrase.
Yes.
Head in the clouds, confused, and hopeful.
What is the last album that you bought?
Album or single?
You know, just whatever.
I bought this song on cassette. Who knew? Yeah, so I bought this song called Dynamite by BTS on cassette, and it's like it would literally come in like a form. And I had to find my cassette player. It was somewhere in the closet, all like dusty.
Are you a morning or night person?
Morning all the way.
What is some advice that you wish you would have known when you were younger?
Don't be so afraid. Don't be so afraid to go to places, to talk to people, to do things.
What is an artist that you have been currently listening to a lot?
I would say BTS. I don't know. I just appreciate what they do with their music, and especially recently, they're trying to, get all these content and media out to make the world a happier place for their fans, for everybody. And it's a thing called, when you discovered them when you need them the most in your life, and that is kind of true, because whenever I found out about them, it was not a pretty time in my life. I was not happy with things, and that made a huge difference in my self-esteem, self-confidence, love yourself, all that good stuff. I've been in the song that I recommended too, the 0 O'Clock one, is basically on repeat whatever I needed to. It could be on repeat all day long, just to get that, just to solidify that message of everything will be okay. And they're like a healing point, the healing method to me as a so yeah.
And final question, what is a book that you have read recently or are currently reading that you recommend?
Okay, I have 2 books on hand. One of the books I got it from the library. It's called This Is How You Lose the Time War. I got it because, I don't know, the cover seemed interesting. Like, why are these 2 birds all cut up and weird? It seemed like glitchy to me. And, the cover says, "This book has it all." And the author of Cirque, which is another great book. The author of Cirque said, "This book has it all." I'm like, I mean, if they say so, then it must, I'll take your word for it. And I found it so interesting. I'm not gonna spoil everything. Basically, these 2 agents, Red and Blue, they work the threads of time. So they go back and forth, and they, the butterfly effect. They're masters at the butterfly effect. So they change history based on their agency, and they, and it involves like coding references, computer references, history references, modern art references. Like it's just like sprinkled everywhere, and you see like art history, like the real world history reflected through the book as well, but in a different way, and how they changed it by just giving this person a cup of water changes the course of history, or like dropping this like droplet of water, it overflows the river, the dam breaks, and so on and so forth. I just found it fascinating. And then I have another book on hand called Exhalation. I got this as a birthday gift recently by Ted Chiang, and I've been working through with it. I think it's like 3 short stories, and I again, no spoilers, but I've been enjoying that very much recently, so they've been keeping me entertained.
So thank you so much, Edit. We learned a lot about you. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to talk with us. Can you let everyone at home know any upcoming projects or where they can connect with you?
Sure, upcoming projects. Keep your eye out for MakerSpace and what we have in store for that. Some things are coming up. Can't say much because it's in the planning, but we will be featuring some fun stuff coming up as part of MakerSpace. And where you can find me is, I'm not don't have much of a public profile as far as social media goes, but I'm on LinkedIn. You can connect with me there. I'll be happy to accept the connection.
So thank you.
Yay. Did you enjoy this episode? If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Glendale Library Arts and Culture channel.
Tune in every Friday at 4:30 for Teen Gen Talks. And if you would like to contact us and be part of the Teen Gen Talks, please email us at teengenttalks@glendaleca.gov. Thank you. See you next episode.
Bye.
Bye.